Welcome on in, everyone, to Let's Talk. Today we are going to preview Utah's game going down to Waco, Texas to play Baylor. And then we're going to get into some of the other Big 12 games this week as well. Let's start right away with Baylor. I think we've only played two times in our history, which were the last 2 years. Utah wins both kind of, weird games that involved quarterback switches. All curse games, honestly. But let's jump right into it. Landon, what do you think about this matchup with Baylor?
Yeah, so my initial thoughts, the line has been fluctuating from like Utah minus 7.5 up to Utah minus 10.5 at the highest, but I think there's going to be a hard fought game potentially. It all depends on Baylor's ability to stop the run, and I guess just Utah's ability to generate offense just in general this game. Because the last two times Utah has played Baylor, their defense was supposed to be not super good, but I honestly remember how they play their defense, that 3-4, it's really messed with Utah before, especially on offense. Like they've had free rushers and just random stuff. Utah has not been able to run the ball like you would expect. So that's one thing that I'm going to be looking for early in this game to see if that issue is still there or maybe that left with Andy Ludwig.
Yeah, and I think a big thing that it's going to be a factor in this game is just Utah's man coverage. I mean, you do it more than anybody in the country. I mean, they bring it up every single broadcast. And I mean, Sawyer Robertson is absolutely an incredible quarterback. So can Utah's man coverage hold their own against these just really good wide receiver room for Baylor? I mean, the tight end room also for Baylor has had a lot of really great production this year. That's something I'm going to look at a lot, but it's going to be exciting to see. Like the Utah secondary has looked really solid the last 5-6 games, and it's been honestly the strength of the defense, which is something that I think we were all thinking the secondary is going to be excellent, but it's kind of been a standout to me. They've been amazing, so that's something I'm going to be watching all game.
Yeah, for sure. Just to get us started here, let's talk about how Utah's offense matches up with this Baylor defense here. I think that this is something that we all expect to go kind of Utah's favor. Baylor has not been a great rush defense this year, and Utah has been one of the elite running teams. So I think especially in that matchup in the trenches, that's something I'm looking for. A stat that I have, Utah's seventh best EPA per rush in the country. Baylor's defense 82nd against the rush. So that's a pretty huge gap. They're astronomical, at least for Power Four teams. If you think of how many Power Four teams there are, Baylor's pretty significantly below that cutoff. So, I mean, not looking good for them.
That's definitely interesting. I heard recently that if a team is struggling to stop the run in September, October, it usually just gets worse in November based on just the stats and how the metrics typically trend because you get injuries, a bit more fatigue. Maybe the team doesn't have quite as much fight. So, yeah, for sure. That battle up front, offensive line versus defensive line and linebackers, that's something that I think should swing Utah's way in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit the right exactly what everybody's been talking about all week. It's this Utah run offense. They should be able to do whatever they want all game. But that's the big if. Can they continue to do it? It's this Baylor team has always given us really, like Tanner said in the beginning, and Lance said in the beginning, very tricky schemes. I mean, David Aranda's done very well hiding some really unique schemes, especially when he faces Utah. And we've always struggled with it. So it's going to be interesting to see how Beck handles that 3-4 and allows us to see if we can get Wayshawn and Bray on the outside and let Devin kind of cook like he has been the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it is definitely, like you guys have both mentioned, stylistically like a very old school Big 12 versus old school Pac-12 kind of matchup. Different clash of styles for sure there. Something else that sticks out to me is that Baylor has been, this is probably related to the run defense. Baylor has been terrible on the early downs EPA, which means they're allowing their opponents a lot of success on early downs. And as we've seen, that's something that Utah has really done a good job of this year is, staying in front of the sticks, basically. I think that's something to look out for as well. Wayshawn Parker, Witt kind of in his press conference this week mentioned Wayshawn is RB1. He started to separate himself from Nakari Rogers, which, I mean, I think that was obvious from, week one, honestly. I mean, I think Nakiri's been okay, but I won't give him more than that. I mean, he was a backup at a, you know, G5 school.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying that since I think the beginning that Wei Shun should be getting the most touches, and then when Bray came onto the scene, it's been Wei Shun and Bray. I like Macquarie as much as the next guy. I think he's been really, really effective for Utah, especially in the red zone, like that short yardage package that Utah brings in. He's been effective there, but that's all he can do. That's all his elite skill is. Is just okay. Look at the hole that the offensive line has created. Part of the Red Sea for me. Let's go walk through it. Like that's what he can do. But anyways, that's beside the point. Like I think guys like Wei Shun and Daniel Bray, like that's going to be the key factors for this game. Like if these two guys can and create those big plays that they have been for Utah the last few weeks, and really the explosive play that Utah's been lacking offensively the whole all season long. You bring in Daniel Bray, and that's kind of changed. He's been the explosive play machine, and I
So
want
does
to continue to
Wayshawn,
see that for
honestly.
Baylor.
Wayshawn has a
Yeah.
knack for these explosive runs. He's really talented at that.
In two 100-yard games in a row, 145 versus Colorado, 104 versus Cincy. You know, he's really starting to come into his own.
But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Ethan. If you got anything, continue.
Like, that's just someone that like since the beginning, since his first snap. I mean, you've been on him since day one, man. And as soon as Daniel Bray walked on the
Oh,
field, it's
dude.
like that guy is a superstar. Get him the ball, and he's done he's done everything to prove you right. And I'm hopping on that train as soon as it leaves the station and going, dude. He's
Dude,
awesome.
He's the type of guy I genuinely had to see only one carry, and I was like, "Yep, he's really good."
What was it? His first carry versus West Virginia, where he did like that in-out
Yes,
cut,
I
it just
did. I remember
totally
watching those
toasted that
highlights.
West Virginia guy.
I screen recorded that and I sent it to you guys in our group chat where I was like, "This guy is gonna be a star."
Yeah, that is some insane like movement ability for
I
sure.
remember RG3. He was on the broadcast. He was like, "Oh, I like this Daniel Bray kid they just brought in," and I was like, "So do I, dude. So do I."
With his usage, I'd like to see him out of the backfield a little bit more too. Like throw him a couple, you know, like swing passes, make him a check down option. I'm not sure how his pass blocking is. Maybe that's what's holding them back from like giving him a traditional handoff, but I just want his role expanded, you know. Eventually, I mean, probably this week. I'm sure it's impossible to watch Utah's film and not be like, okay, watch out for Bray on the jet sweep, you know.
Yeah,
Got to
I
find
think
something new
we've
for him.
actually been seeing that. Cincinnati, first possession, second play, we actually threw a little bit of like a wheel route / swing pass to Daniel Bray, and he was able to get like a good 8-yard gain on that. So I think that's something that Jason Beck has been putting in. And on that same topic, I think the game plan against Cincinnati is super encouraging going forward. You know, the broadcast is going to be beating it to death. I think most Utah fans going into this game are going to be thinking like, run, run, run. I'm not going to be surprised if we actually see a decent amount of deep passes. Like the run was working against Cincinnati, and their coach, Scott Satterfield, actually after the game, he mentioned this. He said, man, they were making it really tough on our defense because we didn't just have to guard them horizontally, we had to guard them vertically as well. And we had to respect that deep threat, and that lightens up the box. And so we said it was just like an impossible situation. I honestly think that's going to continue, and I wouldn't be shocked if Dampier has one of his best games through the air potentially against Baylor, just because they're going to be so focused on the run.
Yeah, I mean, someone to look out for, Ryan Davis. Like all season long, he's been getting open, and that's Dampier's favorite target. I mean, I don't see why he won't have another game where like he did last week, I guess 2 weeks ago against Cincinnati, with a career game.
Yeah, I think that both of your points are super valid. I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, not the best Dampier game. Like his completion percentage was lower. It was actually the opposite to my eye. I thought it was one of his better games, actually, despite the lower completion percentage. I just don't think it matters that much when you're throwing deep enough to soften the box, which I think we clearly did. Like, I loved that game plan. Like, I'm totally willing to, like, live with the incomplete to, like, really make them think about, yeah, like you mentioned, Landon, both horizontally and vertically. I think that's totally worth it to me. It's what we should be doing.
Well, even his interception, it's like, dude, looking back, that was like 2nd and 24. We had like a huge like negative play, and like he threw an interception. It might have been 3rd down actually. I think it might have been 3rd even. he throws it, they catch it at like the 3 yard line, run a few yards. They get the ball back at their own 7, and then they just go 3 and out. Like, sometimes interceptions, obviously, it's never good to turn the ball over. But if that's the price for stretching that defense, that's totally fine.
Oh, I would totally pay that as well. It reminds me of Dampier's game last year against Utah State, where he threw 3 interceptions, 2 of which were like pretty bad, and they still scored like 55 points.
Yes, exactly.
Because they had that deep threat and they hit those explosive plays. Like, you can still run effective offense. Like, you don't have to be petrified of turnovers.
I'll make one prediction right now for the ball knowers. I guarantee Jackson Benny scores a touchdown on offense this game. We saw him against Cincinnati. He was open on that route with Dallin Bentley. They kind of fought each other for it. I'm putting it down right now. I feel like you see this with offensive coordinators. They're not going to go away from it. They're going to do it maybe more, if anything. He'll score a touchdown this game against Baylor on a deep pass.
Like, he's honestly one of the guys I feel most confident. He gets open every time.
Oh, he gets so
and you
open.
Can go, Ethan.
It's just like talking about like Devin's passing. It's like, yeah, he had like low completion percentage, quote unquote, for Devin Dampier, but he's at an 80 QBR. I mean, 79.2, but I'm running up. I mean, that's still a really good grade. 16 for 31. I mean, it's a little bit over 50%, and I mean, 213 yards. That's a great game. Like, especially for Utah offense that focuses on the run. I mean, we ran the ball 53 times against Cincinnati.
Wow.
Like, and we averaged 5 yards per carry with a few people that kind of bringing that down and with like 2.5s and 3.1s. And so it's like, that's a really impressive like situation. I would love to see more of like 40 passing attempts and 40 rushing attempts against this Baylor team.
Yeah. One thing I will say that Baylor has going for it, Tobias Merriweather's not on the injury report. He's available to play. And so, could be advantage Baylor on that.
I don't know. I kind of think he's lost his spot to JJ, if I'm being real with you. Like, I don't think he plays that much on Saturday.
Yeah, it was more in satire, but yeah.
Something someone in the wide receiver room, or speaking of the wide receiver room, that I kind of want to see a little more of. I mean, we saw an awesome play against Cincinnati is Creed Whittemore. He does have that Ryan Davis role where like they're both smaller slot guys that just kind of create separation in the short yardage. I mean, that play specifically was super impressive. And then Witt coming out and saying like, dude, he was going to be playing, but he just struggled with catching the ball and holding onto the ball. And as soon as he gets the playing time, he makes it worth. Like, he could just be a big time player and like just shows up when the game's time happens.
Yeah. Should we move on to Utah's defense versus Baylor's offense?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
The thing that sticks out to me right away is Baylor's quality drive rate, which is 12th best in the country. This is a little surprising to me because looking at the other stats, they only have the 50th best EPA per rush and the 52nd best EPA per dropback, which kind of doesn't make sense. Like, how are they having so many quality drives?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I think about it and I'm thinking, chunk plays, explosive plays, down to down, maybe they're not extremely successful, but the talent that they have on offense with Trigg at wide receiver, some Trigg at tight end, and then some of the wide receiver talent they have, able to create chunk. Yeah, Josh Cameron, they're totally able to create chunk plays. And I think that's why they have such a high quality drive rate.
Yeah, that makes total sense. It's like down to down, you might not be getting, whatever qualifies as a successful play. I think it's, what is it, like 3.6 yards or something? They give you like a successful play.
I think it's on first and second down, it's 50% of the yardage for a first down, and then on third down, it's getting the first down.
Okay, that makes total sense. But yeah, when you're throwing downfield, you're going to have more incompletions, more 0-yard gains. But when you hit those ones, say you complete that 30-yard pass, I think that already would qualify as like a quality drive.
Yeah, you just have to get inside your opponent's 40, and then it's a quality drive, is like what the stat is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like these pass catchers for Baylor are impressive, man. Like,
they spread the ball around, bro. They have a lot of guys with big numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go 4 guys with over 30 receptions, 5 guys with over 20. I mean, their top 5 pass catchers all have over four touchdowns. Like, they're impressive. It's gonna be a test for the secondary and the linebackers, especially with Trigg, how effective he's been all year. I'd love to see John Hall on him a lot in coverage with his safety background. That's something I think is going to be someone to look out for. I think Jono could have a big game if Utah's defense is what I think they can be. Um, Again, this is something like this is the game to make a statement. I think Scally, where we're at with the college football applications, like this is the most important game where the defense needs to show up and kind of show like, oh, we can hang with these elite of the elite offenses that Baylor. I truly think Baylor's offense is one of the top of the country. Like Tanner shot, like those statistics show, like they are very efficient, very effective, and if Utah's defense can hold them, it's gonna be a great statement, especially to the committee that I think we're trying to impress.
Yeah, I think a lot of this matchup is going to hinge on Baylor's offensive line, truthfully. I think Scally's going to come out. I mean, the last 2 weeks against Cincinnati and Colorado has just been unbelievable blitzing. Like, extremely high blitz rates that just don't even seem like real that you can play a game that way, but it's completely worked the last 2 games. I think Scally's going to come out, maybe not as aggressive, but I do think he's going to try and blitz, play that man coverage, jam the wide receivers. I think a lot of this game is going to depend on if their offensive line can properly identify the blitzes that are coming and then how well they can hold up in the pocket, because Robertson can move, but he's not like, you wouldn't describe him as a dual threat quarterback. He would be more of like a pocket passer. He can move. I'm really interested to see what Utah's pass rush, which has been super good the last few weeks, what they can do against Baylor.
Yeah, I feel like we did have a really great mix of like blitz and then just keeping our like standard 4-man front. We've been one of the best teams in the country with like time to pressure as far as just 4-man front. And their tackles have allowed a lot of pressures and like I wouldn't say like a crazy amount of sacks, but like more pressures than sacks. I think that's somewhere they're vulnerable as well.
I mean, 16 sacks on the season for this offensive line. It's something to look into. They're giving up at least what that's like 1 point something a game, which is, I mean, it's something with Utah's edges like Logan Fano and John Henry Daly. Like if they can get some pressure, that's going to be a big factor.
Yeah, John Henry has truly developed into being like a superstar. He is such an impactful playmaker. Dude, I haven't considered this until now. I think Utah's going to have to fight extremely hard to keep him in the portal. He might be one of our
Well,
highest
dude,
paid
I'm just
players on
hoping
the
he
team.
doesn't declare for the draft, dude.
Ooh,
It's like
that's true, actually.
I just hope he doesn't pull a Vaki where like Vaki went
He
too
goes a
early.
year
Like
early.
he goes a year early. Like stay a little bit longer. I think he'll stay. I feel pretty good about him staying.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, like the top like pass rushers in college football, it's senior. John Henry Daly, sophomore, senior.
It's
It's like, oh
unbelievable.
my gosh, this kid is a
His
stud.
emergence is
Uh,
crazy.
it came out of nowhere. Like I know he was going to be like that was my big concern at the beginning of the season. It's like who's going to be the number 2? Like Logan, like obviously he's our D end one. Then
He's the D end
John
one
Henry
now.
Daly, PhD, came out of nowhere. And now he's like the stud. It's like, hey,
Well, yeah,
like I think it shows like how good Logan is, honestly, though, because he like highlights like his counterparts so well. Like the same thing happened to Jonah Ellis.
It's true.
Like,
yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I was thinking the same. It was funny, like before the season, like we weren't even sure Daly was going to start. It was like,
No, we
oh,
didn't know he was. I
Cash
was
Dillon
like,
maybe,
I like Lance
Holtzclaw.
might be the
Yeah.
we
guy.
went and,
Paul
we went and go
Fitzgerald.
get
I was like,
two.
dude, Paul Fitzgerald is for sure like the number 2. Like he
Yeah,
did get injured.
His
though,
production.
so
I mean, we
yeah.
go in there and we get like 2, 3 transfer guys on the edge, defensive ends, like that kind of like, oh, like who's going to be the guy that kind of shows up. And I mean, it was JHD, and good on him, man.
Yeah,
And I
like
think like,
Landon. Mhm.
sorry, I
You
was going
got
to
it.
say, just to kind of jump off Landon real quick when he was talking about like the blitz package, it just shows like how like much trust Scally has in that secondary. Like as soon as Jackson Benny like switched over to the full-time safety position on defense instead of being like in that nickel and allowing Smith to go back to his natural position, like the blitzing has improved, the secondary has just been out of this world.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to go to next. We
Oh,
have the
sure.
12th best EPA per dropback. It really feels like as soon as we found Benny at safety, that everything has just locked into place defensively. Like it's our coverage has been so good. Like every part of our team has improved when we just found the right spots for guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that makes sense. Like we had a team that was like kind of unproven. We had lost quite a bit, I think, especially on the defensive line. And so it just took some tinkering, it just took some time, and then we locked in and we've been elite since then.
Dude, yeah, talking about people that recently got found, Don Saunders better be playing a lot.
Yeah.
Did
That
he
was
That
amazing.
was
did he
very
go what, like
impressive.
0 of 4 passing when they targeted him and he played like 1.5 quarters or like 1 quarter? Like they genuinely didn't complete a pass on him.
Well, and it wasn't like he got lucky. Like he was like running the route for
No.
them, dude.
They
Like it
went
was
right
genuinely
at
elite.
him. He got subbed in. Smith, he kind of got burned on that route, and they were saying there might be some sort of like little injury or something. Nothing big. Dude, they put Don Saunders in there. They tried to go right at him. They couldn't get any separation at all. It was
Nothing.
the best coverage I've seen all year from anyone.
Mhm.
Like it's the kind
I
of
mean,
coverage
another
that just it's the kind of coverage they throw the ball and you're like, "Oh my gosh, why would they even throw that?" Like no
Yeah.
chance.
It's what Blake Cotton's been doing all year,
And
man.
it's like one-on-one. It's really impressive.
Like somebody, like I also like someone that's kind of came out of nowhere the last few weeks. That I want to highlight Trey Reynolds, linebacker room. I mean, he came
Yes.
into that Colorado game when I think Lander had to sit out for the first half, and he looked. I mean, some of the best play all year. And then I mean, Lander come back in and he played well. But Trey, like, he's definitely earned those minutes that he's been getting a lot more. That was the one I was like, why is he in the game? Like, I would love to see more Jono there. I'd love to see more Lander there. But I mean, he's coming. He's really looked really well. Like, he's
Yeah.
kind of filled in that like Karenni Reed role a little bit more. Like that, I
Yeah,
think
I,
we were missing throughout the year.
I do wonder if this is a good spot for him. Like this seems like a pretty good matchup for him in my opinion. Like kind of the side to side, like you can put him on the athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Maybe a little bit more lateral in a way that Barton has, lost a little bit. But yeah, I think this may be a good matchup for Reynolds.
Yeah, going back a little bit more about some of these Baylor players on offense. Bryson Washington, their number one RB, breakout freshman last year. They found him later in the year. He was really dominating. I'm not saying this trying to be like a hater or something. I feel like he's gained a little bit of weight and potentially lost a step in speed. Like last year, he kind of looked like Wei Sean, but he's kind of looking like Tavion this year, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well,
But
he went from like I think like 5.9 to 4.8 yards per carry. So like he's 1.1 yards per
still,
carry drop off.
yeah, it's just, he doesn't look to have the same, I don't know, just like burst in my opinion. So I'm not super worried about him. He is a quality running back, I believe. And I wasn't saying like Tavion Thomas for Utah was not a bad running back. That guy was great. I was just talking more about physique wise, getting bigger. But yeah,
Yeah.
I
Bryson
mean, that's
Washington, it's an all-time classic, the Tavion arc to end his career. That was
that
crazy.
spring game, bro. He looked like an offensive line.
Dude,
Yeah.
that spring game, if you guys were there, you know what we're talking about. When Tavion played like one play in the spring game and fumbled, and he looked like he was huge, and he never played again after that. Like he actually quit
True
the team. He
freshman
left the
Lander
team.
just destroying him.
But
It
yeah,
was so funny.
but yeah, I'm not super worried about Bryson Washington. That's someone that I was worried about, but I don't think he'll be a huge factor in this game.
Honestly, my biggest worry for this is Josh Cameron. Like, just watching any game with Baylor, it's like this guy is just
He looks kind of like
is
Jeremiah
great.
Smith. I don't like. He's
Yeah.
Like
got kind
he's
of that
good,
like
man.
wide shoulder, but like really fast build.
Their receivers are like the type of receivers I would kill to have at Utah. Like how
Oh
did they
my
find
God.
that talent?
They
Like
got so
those
many
guys are
good
so
guys.
good. Yeah. I honestly like that's the matchup I think I'm most excited to watch. Like that's strength on strength. Like if you can't appreciate that as like a football
Yeah,
fan, that's so good.
like Blake
Yeah, I
Cotton
mean,
versus it's gonna be so good versus like Josh Cameron. Like two, they both are kind of bigger, like athletic guys. It's gonna be a good matchup.
Trig is like kind of a mismatch. Like how do we cover him? Like
Yeah.
Ethan mentioned Jono. I think that might be good. Maybe you even bring a safety down on him like Benny or Teo. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's
mhm.
gonna be a chess match, I think. I think Scally's gonna have to cook up something pretty good for these
Yeah.
Well,
weapons.
that's an interesting thought. Like, I mean, Trig with Benny. I mean, Benny's been such a sure tackler this since he's been moved over to safety. Like, I like that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
More I think about
You'd
it.
have to play pretty aggressively in the box. You've got to just deny the ball in that scenario, because you don't love having your safety
He's
tackling this big Trig breaks tackles like crazy. This
Yeah.
dude runs
Oh,
after
yeah.
the
For
catch
sure.
bad. So like I don't love having a smaller body on him. But I mean Benny is pretty big. He's like 6'2", and he's a pretty good tackler.
Yeah, but like you just got to think like, what if our linebackers can't keep up with them, and then our safeties got to tackle them anyways?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like
Yeah, see,
Well, that's why I
that's
think like
something
Trey
interesting.
Reynolds, like that's a big factor because like he's like he has, like you said, he has that lateral quickness that like Landers kind of like lost. I think if that's gonna be a big thing, if like Trey can get that separation from our linebackers, it can be a long day for the secondary because they're gonna have to like take on that assignment as well, which I think we'd rather have our linebackers do.
Do you guys think
yeah,
Utah
this
will
is.
generate any turnovers this game?
I think they will. I was just about to say, this is like a game where I don't think you should overuse this, but I think you should definitely have a couple like disguise zones sometime. Like I think that
Yeah.
that is like, especially when guarding 1v1 versus these guys is so hard down to down. Occasionally sprinkle in a little bit of zone. I think you can generate a turnover off that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think this is the best wide receiver room we've faced this season. Like I think that's pretty comfortable to say. I think the secondary has played awesome. Like we played some really good guys like Texas Tech, obviously. I mean Cincinnati's had some studs. But these like Cameron and Trigg and then I mean there's one guy who was the other guy? I think it was Hawkins. There
The
was a
like
game where we were
6 year
watching.
senior guy, that guy
Yeah, it
Ashton
was a game we
Hawkins,
were
he's been there
watching,
forever.
and it was Cameron and Hawkins has had like maybe 4 drives where they did anything they wanted, and it was like some of the most impressive wide receiver play I've seen all year. And I was like, I don't know how we're gonna stop these guys. And then I saw like their defense. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe we can score some points. But like,
Yeah. Any final thoughts on our defense versus Baylor's offense? Nothing? Okay, let's move on to X factors for this game. For me, I think this is pretty simple, but it's literally just, can Utah just like control the game with the run? Like I think that there are a lot of factors that you're like, oh, that could potentially go one way or the other. But like I really don't see Utah losing this game if they can run effectively. Like I just don't see the path there to how they lose if that's like the case.
Yeah, that completely makes sense to me. Like it's just hard to imagine a scenario where Utah's running for say like 6 or more yards per carry and somehow they lose the game. Just doesn't
Yeah.
feel like it would happen. My X factor
Mhm.
though, I'm gonna go on the other side of the ball. I'm gonna go specific player, John Henry Daly.
Ooh.
If he is getting pressure, if he's having a big game with sacks, it's kind of the inverse. I don't see how Baylor's offense is going to function. If they can't block and pass protect, their whole offense falls apart.
man, I'll just take the easy pick, and then we'll say Devin Dampier, man. Like
Always.
if he can do and have a similar game to his Cincinnati production or his um I guess the Cincinnati production, it's gonna be a good game. And obviously like that, talking about Devin, you guys, so it's like Beck kind of in there as well. It's like this is another big game that Utah's needs to make a statement, and I'm hoping that this coaching staff understands how important it is for the committee to see like, oh, this team's legit. I think they do understand it, truthfully, especially with that statement we had against Cincinnati. But it's always a concern with a Coach Whittingham led coaching staff.
Yeah, taking your foot off the gas.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, we don't know the injury status of Dampier either. Like he was a little bit hobbled versus like Cincinnati, and obviously missed the game before that, Colorado. But I mean, he should be fine now. I would expect
Yeah,
bye
I was
week,
listening
right?
to
Like
the weekly interview that he does, and he said that he was feeling good. Like it wasn't really a topic of conversation, like his injury. He said he was feeling good. So I think he'll be completely healthy, I believe. 100%.
okay, you guys ready for picks? Pick the game.
Let me think for a second.
Okay, I can go first.
Okay, go ahead.
I think this Baylor team has a lot of talent, especially at the wide receiver position. And like I think that this is a roster that like I really respect, but I think that there's one that just has holes in it. And unfortunately for them, I think the holes just like coincide exactly with what Utah is so dominant at. Like, when's the last time we've like been able to run effectively on a team and like lost a game? It's been like forever, I feel like. And so with that in mind, I think that road environment, it's interesting. You know, we haven't really gone on the road or left the state of Utah in a long time. But I'm going Utah here, and I'm going kind of a big win. I think they need the CFP like visual, you know, like this is a team that still has a decent power rating. So I think if Utah goes in and takes care of business, and I mean honestly more than takes care of business, you know, blows them out, I think that helps their at-large chances. So I'm gonna go 42-17 Utah.
You guys know me. Last week, I said, or well, I guess this was 2 weeks ago at this point because of the bye week, Utah either loses a close game or they blow them out. And so against Cincinnati, I predicted 42-10, and it was 45-14. I'm pretty much staying on the same boat here. I was looking, for some reason, it seems like Baylor always scores like 20 points if they lose. So I'm going 45-20 for Utah.
Yeah, I'm in a very similar boat. My thought process was 23-45. I think Utah's defense is going to be able to hold them for a while, but it's not a great offense, so they're going to be able to score some points. And but I think we're able to run all over them like we've been predicting all game.